CVP analysis is based on the concept of contribution. There are many different formulas which have been derived from the concept of contribution. You can see 4 of them in this slide. What CVP does, cost, volume, profit analysis. When we looked at high-low method, it helps us to look at the change in the cost when we change in the volume, which is our activity basically. And the third aspect in this one is that it also helps us to look at the profit or loss figure when we change our activity. So the first one we have already seen is the contribution to sales ratio, which is contribution per unit divided by selling price. And the highest the contribution to the sales ratio is, the higher priority that products get. The second one is a break-even point, which is fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. Break-even point is no profit, no loss, or where total revenues meet our total costs. And the third one is margin of safety. Margin of safety is linked with break-even point. So I give you an example to explain this concept. Let's say your break-even point is 1,000 units and your target is 2,000 units. Your margin of safety is 1,000. So margin of safety is the difference or the distance between your break-even point to your target profits or target sales. That's your margin of safety. So how much you need to go down before you start making a loss. Yeah. So if your break-even point is 1,000 units, your target sales are 2,000, your margin of safety is 100%. Normally, margin of safety is set in a percentage. Yeah. If your break-even point is 1,000 units and your target sales are 1,500, then your margin of safety is 50%. So the formulas given, budgeted sales minus break-even point. This will be in sales terms, value terms, and as a percentage, you have budgeted sales minus break-even sales divided by budgeted sales, and it will give you a percentage margin of safety. The fourth formula we can see here is target profit. We again looked there how to calculate target profit, fixed costs plus required profit. You can calculate how to achieve our target profit by using this formula. This is a type of a chart which CVP creates, and this is our normal chart when we are making a profit. The two graphs are actually put together here. The first one is if you ignore everything else and you look at these two horizontal lines, actually that horizontal line represents fixed costs. Actually it looks like a variable cost, but in this case it is not variable cost. This is our revenue curve. And what has been done, that our variable cost is sitting on top of the fixed cost. Yeah. So what do we have? The break-even point is the point where our total revenue curve and total cost curve intersects. Yeah, where they meet each other. That is our break-even point. If our revenue curve is on top of our total cost curve, that is our profit area. And if it's below that, then that would be our loss area. You can see the difference between our sales revenue and the total cost. You can calculate profit. We have a fixed cost area, we have a variable cost area, and then we have a margin of safety, which is the distance between budgeted or actual sales minus break-even point sales. This graph can be presented slightly differently. So that is where we have removed the fixed cost bit from here, but the fixed cost is still there. And that is our profit volume chart. Our point 0 is the point where our activity is 0. However, in this one, our point 0 is actually not limited. It go further back if we need to. The point where our x-axis and our revenue curve intersects, that is our point 0. So where our sales curve intersects with revenue curve with our x-axis, that is our break-even point. So we start with our break-even point. Below that we would make loss, and above that we would make profit. So simply, this is a bit more comprehensive. It could be more useful for a startup. When you're starting a business, then obviously you would expect losses to be made initially. So it would actually give you information at what point, where do you stand. But normally, for a running business, well in profit, our profit volume chart is going to look like this. Templar provides a service priced at £10. The cost of employing hourly staff is £6 on each occasion. It's a service, so no material information is given. So there's no material cost. The only variable cost is labor. Complete the spreadsheet below using Microsoft Excel or Numbers. If you're on Apple, then you can use Numbers or any other spreadsheet software. And then we have this data. I'll go through these when I actually make this table on Excel. Draw up a break-even chart and a profit volume chart using Microsoft Excel or Numbers. Check the break-even point by using the formula. And demonstrate the changes on the table and graph if the price is raised to £12 with the cost remaining the same. So let's do this. So this is not just learning the technical management accounting stuff, but also learning the Excel. Number of clients. Fixed costs. Variable cost, total cost, yes. Profit or loss. Those who already know Excel, please bear with me, but I need to make sure that everybody actually knows this stuff. Yeah. So what I've done, you can see overlapping all of the stuff. I've selected all of the columns. I'm going to double click on any one of them, and it's going to fix the width of each of the column. Yeah, so that is one trick. All right. Starting with that, I would like to highlight this, and now I'll put the data. 0. I have 0 clients, 50 clients, 100 clients. I can type everything, but that would waste time. So please see autofill. Yeah, I'm going to do autofill. If you haven't done this before, I'm going to drag it down, and I need 500. So there's a small 500 you can see there, and there it is. Yeah. These are my number of clients. What does it tell us? That the fixed cost is 1500. Obviously, it's going to remain the same. Even at 0 clients. So whatever our fixed cost, or maybe our office cost or shop cost, that's 1500. Okay. And what do we know is that our variable cost per hour is £6 on each occasion. So when we serve one client, we do £6, yeah. So okay. So what I'm doing now, I'm copying. So what did I do? I did A2 times 6. I put a formula there, yes. and I'm going to copy the formula. I could select an autofill it. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. And I get the variable cost for all of the different level of activity. That's one way of doing it. I press Control Z, undone, and then I press Control C. Use my arrow key to bring it down, and then select the range. Press enter, and I get exactly the same results. Fixed cost is going to remain the same no matter how many customers we serve. My total cost is going to be variable costs plus fixed costs. And again, I can copy and paste the formula. If you're writing on a piece of paper, good luck with catching up with me. It's impossible. The answer to this is available on Blackboard. Okay, so don't have to copy it. Don't copy it. Just see, yeah. And then you should practice it while it's fresh. You can learn this on YouTube. I'm not teaching you something which cannot be learned by yourself, but I'm just making sure that you all know, because you're going to lose marks significantly in your coursework if you don't know how to create tables and charts. So I'm just making sure that I give you the start, and then you learn yourself. Whatever I'm teaching you is not enough for the required level in your coursework, but it's a start, and that is important. For revenues, each time we serve, we do £10. Again, autofill 5,000. And then profit or loss. So that would be my revenue less total cost. If it's positive, it's a profit. If it's negative, it's a loss. So we start with loss, and then we make a profit. So we have completed our table. Now let's make it look good. I can see a lot of space there. I don't like that. So I would wrap the text. Wrap all of it actually. So you select all, and as you can see on top, there's a wrap text button. You press it, and it goes like this. If you want me to do that again, I can do it again. Use the borders, because if you print it like this, there'll be no lines visible. So you can use borders, and Now you can see in this column there are some figures which are positive and mostly are negatives. It's very common in business world to show negatives as red. And there's a common phrase as well that we are in the red, or you are in the red, or they're in the red. That means they are in negative. So we always show reds and negatives as red. So you can auto do this, yeah. So select the whole thing and go to format cells. And wait for it. Okay. So we have numbers. Select numbers, no decimal places. Use separators, you can do that. And the last bit is negative red. Press OK and you get this. 150 clients, we are making a negative 100. And at 400 clients, we are making a positive 100. That means our break-even point. So here we are making a loss of 100 and here we are making a profit of 100. That means our break-even point lies right in the middle of 350 and 400. So that is 375. We'll apply the formula as well to check that. So what's happening here? You can see that all negatives are in red and then black comes. Ever heard about Black Friday? Yeah. That's what it is. This is the time when businesses' net profit figure turns into black. And it's in the time of October. So this is the reality in retail business, that most of them actually make a loss for the first 9 months. And right before the Christmas, they started making a profit. So that's why they call it Black Friday. Unfortunately, I always teach this around Black Friday time, and obviously you can't go to sales nowadays, but that's one thing. You learned today extra. All right. Now, what do we, separators. Yeah, let's put separators here. So see this comma? Yes. So now there's separators as well. Don't use decimal places if not needed. Avoid decimal places. If you have to put decimal places, please don't put more than 2 decimal places. Every year I receive assignments with 10 decimal places there, which doesn't look good. Okay, next step, creating let's calculate the break-even point doing the formula first, okay, and then we'll do something else. So BEP equals fixed costs divided by contribution per unit, CPU. Fixed cost 1500. Contribution per unit is, we are selling for £10. Our variable cost is £4. So divided by 375 as I predicted. Yeah, there's no surprise there. Okay, let's create a chart now. Select the whole range. Press F11 and you get this messy thing which we don't want. So let's go back to our sheet 1, not that one, this one. Okay, now select again and go to insert, and here you can see these different options with the chart. I was looking for that, created a bar chart. I was looking for a line graph. So I get some options here and I'll go through these ones and see which one makes more sense. This does make a bit more sense. I'll stick with this one actually. Okay. So we have our graph there. You can see that we have cost and revenues on y-axis, and we haven't defined our x-axis yet. Yes, so press right click and then get select data, and you can see we have options here, and this is our vertical axis legends, and then we have a horizontal axis. I'm going to edit it, and then it's asking me to select the range, and I'm going to do that. I press OK, and I get my number of clients on x-axis as well. It still needs a lot of formatting. It's not close to done yet. What else could be done? Yes, one thing which you should do is always label templates CVP. All right, what else? Here, add chart elements, quick layout. You can try that one as well. It might give you something better. I like this one. When there's less data, obviously we have like millions of different types of costs here, but you will see when we go to our ratio analysis, normally you have small data. I like this chart much because it has a table and then it has the graph as well. So that's my favorite type of graph if there is less data on axis. Okay, let's not do anything there. Okay, now here on add chart elements, you can see primary axis and primary vertical, axis titles. So I put number of clients, press enter, and you get number of clients here. And on y-axis, I put revenues and costs. Oh, this looks good. And legends up, down. Guys, I think this is enough of a startup. Yeah, it does need tweaking. Yeah. But I'll leave this to you guys, and don't forget this because you will need it when you're doing your coursework. You will lose around 10 to 15% marks in your coursework if you don't do charts and tables. So please keep this in mind. Any questions, folks? If you want to learn more about it, I'm not an expert in graphs and stuff. At the end of the day, I'm an accountant. Yeah, I can do basic stuff. And when I need to produce something like this, I do Google up and I learn things, new things about it. So that's what you should do. That say that if you change the price to £12, what would happen? So if you see the graph has moved a bit. I press Ctrl Z, you see it's moved again, and I redo it. So you can see the difference. The graph, to be honest, is not the best one to actually show the variations in there. Now you can see more variations if I change the graph. Nope, I don't want to do that. The best thing about this thing is that you have data in front of you on table, and then you have a graph, and you can see how it looks like. Another thing which you can see is your break-even point somewhere here, where your blue line is your so now I have removed one, so it's slightly more congested. Very congested graphs are not good. Here you can see somewhere your break-even point as well.